Hello there and welcome. I'm Bob Proctor. Let's begin with a question. It's a question I want you to sit with for a moment. Why is it that some people seem to attract money with very little effort, while others, who work just as hard, perhaps even harder, struggle to make ends meet their entire lives? Why is it that you can have two people with the same IQ, the same education, the same opportunities, and one builds a fortune while the other remains stuck in a cycle of low income? This is a question I have studied for over 60 years, and the answer is not found in the economy. It's not found in your job. It's not found in your boss or your parents or the government. The answer is found in a single word. That word is paradigm. You see, you and I live our lives according to a set of programmed patterns. These patterns control every decision we make, every habit we have, and ultimately every result we get. If your financial results are not what you want them to be, you are operating inside of what I call the poverty loop, and you cannot escape it by simply working harder. You cannot escape it by getting a second job or cutting back on your coffee. Those are physical world solutions to a metaphysical problem. You must change the program. Let's look at the nature of a loop. Imagine a mouse running on a wheel. That mouse can run all day. It can run faster than any other mouse. It can be the most dedicated, hardest working mouse on the planet. But at the end of the day, where is it? It's still right there on the wheel. It has expended tremendous energy, yet it has gone nowhere. That is the perfect analogy for what happens to most people with money. They are running harder and harder, but they are running inside a wheel that keeps them in the same financial position. Now, why does this happen? It happens because of a misunderstanding of how life actually works. We are taught in school that we are physical beings having a physical experience. We are taught that if you want to change your results, you must take physical action. If you want more money, you must work more hours. But this is only half the truth. In reality, you are not a physical being having a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being having a physical experience, and the physical world you see around you, including your bank account, is simply the effect of a cause that exists in an invisible world. Think about this. You cannot see a radio wave, can you? You cannot touch it or smell it, but you know it exists. You know that if you tune a radio to the right frequency, you can hear music. The music was always there, floating through the room. You just couldn't access it until you changed your frequency. Your financial life works exactly the same way. There is an abundance of money in this world. There is no shortage of money. The only shortage is an understanding of how to attract it. Your current income is the exact frequency you are tuned into. If you are tuned into a low-income frequency, you will attract low-income results. You will attract jobs that pay low wages. You will attract bills you can't pay. You will attract a landlord who raises the rent. The law of attraction is not something you turn on and off. It is a constant universal law, just like gravity. It is always working. It is simply responding to the signal you are sending out. So, what is sending out this signal? It is not your conscious mind. You might be sitting here consciously saying, I want to be rich. I want to earn more money. I want to escape this struggle, and you are sincere. But the conscious mind is only the captain. It gives the orders. The subconscious mind is the crew that actually steers the ship, and the crew has been programmed with a very specific set of instructions. These instructions are your paradigms. A paradigm is a multitude of habits. It is a program that runs automatically. When you learn to drive a car, at first it was very difficult. You had to think about every single action. But now you can drive without even thinking. You can have a conversation, listen to music, and arrive at your destination without remembering the drive. That is a paradigm at work. Your financial behavior operates the same way. You don't have to think about being broke. You just automatically make decisions that lead to being broke because that is the program running in your subconscious. Now let's go deeper. Where did this program come from? It came from your environment. By the time you are 6 years old, your brain waves are operating at a frequency that allows you to simply absorb information from the world around you like a sponge. You watched your parents, you watched your relatives, you watched the people in your neighborhood, you watched how they reacted to money. Did they argue about it? Did they say we can't afford that? Did they say money doesn't grow on trees? Did they say the rich are greedy? You absorbed every one of those statements as absolute truth. And now, 40 or 50 years later, you are still operating based on that data. You have a paradigm in your head that says money is hard to get, money is scarce, money causes problems, and you are sending that vibration out into the universe every single second of every single day. So the universe, which is pure intelligence and responds to vibration, says, you want scarcity? I will give you more scarcity. And it brings you circumstances, people, and events that match that vibration. This is the poverty loop. It is a self-sustaining cycle. Your thinking creates your results. Your results reinforce your thinking, and you are trapped. But here is the good news. A paradigm is learned, and anything that is learned can be unlearned. You are not stuck. You are simply operating on a program that needs to be changed. And you change it by breaking the loop. Let me explain what I mean by using another analogy. Think about a record player. I know some of you are too young to remember records, but bear with me. If you have a record and it has a scratch on it, the needle will get stuck in that groove. It will play the same sound over and over and over again. You can yell at the record player to change. You can pray to the record player to change. You can try to push the needle forward, but as soon as you let go, it snaps right back into the scratch. Your mind works the same way. The scratch is your paradigm. You have a set of thoughts about money that are stuck in a groove. You might have a sudden inspiration, a burst of motivation that pushes the needle forward. You decide to start a business. You decide to invest. You decide to ask for a raise. And for a moment, you move out of the scratch. You are playing new music. But then something happens. You encounter a small setback, or a family member tells you it's a bad idea. And what happens? The needle of your mind snaps right back into the scratch. You are right back where you started, playing the same old poverty music. To escape the loop, you have to lift the needle and change the record. You have to insert a new paradigm, and you do this by changing your thinking at a deep emotional level. You cannot just think positive thoughts for 5 minutes a day and expect your life to change. That is like putting a band-aid on a broken leg. You have to go to the source of the problem. The source is your self-image. Your self-image is the controlling factor of your personality and your behavior. It is the blueprint of who you think you are. If you have a self-image that says, I am the kind of person who earns $40,000 a year, it does not matter what opportunities come your way, you will find a way to earn exactly $40,000. If you get a raise to $50,000, your subconscious will create a crisis. You will get sick. You will have a car accident. You will lose the job to bring you right back down to $40,000 because your self-image cannot tolerate you being outside of its comfort zone. This is the most important thing I will tell you today. You must change your self-image. You must start to see yourself as a wealthy person, not in the future, but right now. You must feel the feelings of being wealthy right now. Let's talk about the 3 components of your mind. There is the conscious mind, which thinks. There is the subconscious mind, which feels. And there is the body, which acts. Most people try to change their results by acting. They try to act rich. They try to act confident. But if their subconscious mind is sending a signal of poverty, the acting will look fake. It will not produce results. You have to change the feeling. The way out of the poverty loop is to deliberately give your subconscious mind a new instruction. You must impress upon it the idea of abundance so strongly that it accepts it as truth. And how do you do that? You do it through repetition and emotion. You do it by using your imagination. Imagine right now that you have all the money you could ever need. Do not just think it. Feel the relief, feel the freedom, feel the security, feel the power. When you generate those feelings, you are sending a new vibration out into the universe. You are broadcasting a new frequency, and the universe must respond to that frequency with physical results. It has no choice. It is a law. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Bob, that sounds like wishful thinking. I have bills to pay. I have real problems. I can't just sit here and pretend. And I understand that. I understand the pressure of the physical world, but I want you to stay with me here because this is where the real secret lies. You are looking at the problem backwards. You think the bills are causing your stress. But the truth is, your stress about the bills is causing the bills to remain. The universe is a giant mirror. It is reflecting back to you exactly the image you are holding in your mind. If you are holding an image of struggle, it will reflect struggle. If you are holding an image of abundance, it must reflect abundance. Think about the law of electricity. It is a powerful force. You can use it to light your home, or you can use it to electrocute yourself. It is the same force applied differently. The law of attraction is the same. It is a neutral force. It will bring you more of whatever you are thinking about. If you are thinking about debt, it brings more debt. If you are thinking about abundance, it brings more abundance. So how do you break the physical habit of thinking about lack? You do it by becoming a mental scientist. You do it by observing your thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking, I can't afford that, stop, immediately change it to, how can I afford that? This shifts your mind from a problem to a solution. It opens your mind to possibilities. It changes the signal. You must also be careful about who you associate with. If you are surrounded by people who are stuck in the poverty loop, they will constantly reinforce your old paradigm. They will tell you that your dreams are unrealistic. They will tell you to be practical. They are not bad people. They are just operating from their own program. But you cannot let their program run your life. You must find people who are playing the music you want to play. You must find mentors, even if they are in books or videos. You must surround yourself with a vibration of success. This brings us to the concept of action. Once you have changed your vibration, you must take inspired action. This is different from hard work. Hard work is pushing the river. Inspired action is flowing with the river. When you are tuned into the right frequency, ideas will come to you. You will think of someone to call. You will see An opportunity that was always there but you never noticed. You will feel a nudge to go somewhere. You must act on these impulses. They are the universe guiding you toward your new results. But do not act from a place of desperation. Desperation is a low frequency. It is the frequency of lack. If you act desperately, you will attract more reasons to be desperate. Act from a place of certainty. Act from a place of knowing that the money is on its way. This is a subtle difference, but it is the difference between success and failure. Let me share something with you that happened to me many years ago. I was working as a janitor. I was earning $4,000 a year. I had no education, no money, and no future. I was trapped in the deepest poverty loop you can imagine. Then one day, a man handed me a book. It was a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I didn't want to read it. I thought it was a scam, but something made me open it. And on the very first page, I read something that shattered my world. It said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." I had never heard anything like that in my life. I was raised to believe that you got what you deserved, and I didn't deserve much. But that sentence planted a seed. It made me question everything. I started to study. I started to learn about the laws of the universe. I learned about the difference between the conscious and subconscious mind. I learned about paradigms. And slowly, very slowly, I started to change my thinking. I started to see myself differently. I didn't have any money, but in my imagination, I started to feel rich. I started to feel successful, and the universe began to rearrange itself to match that feeling. It didn't happen overnight. It took time. The old record kept snapping back into the scratch, but I kept lifting the needle. I kept impressing new thoughts on my mind, and eventually the new paradigm took hold. I went from earning $4,000 a year to earning $100,000 a year in a very short period of time. And then it grew from there. Why? Because I got off the wheel. I stopped trying to run faster inside the poverty loop, and I stepped outside of it. I changed the program. Now, I want you to think about your own life. I want you to look at your bank account right now, not as a judgment of your worth, but as feedback. It is simply telling you what your current paradigm is producing. If you don't like what it's producing, you have the power to change it. You have the power to conceive of something greater. But you must be willing to let go of the old identity. This is the hard part. Most people would rather be comfortable in their misery than uncomfortable in a new possibility. They would rather stay in the loop because they know how to survive there. They know the rules. Stepping out requires faith. It requires trusting a law you cannot see. But I am telling you, the law is real. It is as real as this table I am tapping my hand on. You can rely on it. If you change your thinking, you will change your life. It is not a maybe. It is a mathematical certainty. So start today. Start right now. Take a few minutes every morning to sit quietly and imagine your life as you want it to be. See the bank statement with the numbers you desire. Feel the feeling of paying your bills with ease. Feel the feeling of generosity, of being able to help others. Do this with emotion. Do it with gratitude, as if it has already happened. And when you go through your day, monitor your thoughts. When you feel fear or doubt creeping in, acknowledge it and then let it go. Say to yourself, that is the old program. I am writing a new one. You are the programmer. You are the one in control. You may have forgotten that, but it is the truth. You were born rich. You were born with the potential for infinite abundance. The only thing standing between you and that abundance is a thought, and you can change a thought. I want you to leave here today with the absolute conviction that you can escape the poverty loop, not by luck, not by chance, but by the deliberate, conscious application of universal law. You are a powerful, creative being. Start acting like one, start thinking like one, and watch what happens. Thank you for listening.